This episode is sponsored by Good Meads Emporium, found on Etsy.com.
Look, I'm not entirely sure why you keep paying this gym fella a monthly fee. Instead of paying to go hang out at his place and look at heavy equipment being moved from one place to another by sweaty humanoids, come by Good Meads Emporium. Over at Good Meads Emporium, we've got miniatures and models which will absolutely make you feel fulfilled when you purchase, paint, and play with them. I guarantee you that painting six-pack abs on is infinitely easier than sculpting them out of your flesh. Head on over to Good Meads Emporium on Etsy. New releases monthly. Hey, forget about it.
Make those dice, make it rain dice.
Hey man, if you lose a metal four-sided die, somebody's going to the fuck hospital.
But I'm not going to help you if that happens.
Put that rope where it don't belong. 50 feet of rope.
Tie one on.
Get it in you.
Oh, no.
Oh,
No.
Yeah,
goodbye.
50 Feet of Rope, a tabletop podcast of good friends throwing bad dice. Your cast: Adam plays Crow, who is a swashbuckler rogue.
I am hoping you have a story that you can tell me.
Brian plays Pix, who is a wild magic sorcerer.
I feel you're so cute, but I also want to vomit.
Chris plays Scraps, who is an alchemist articifer.
This is not scientific.
Josh plays Wally, who is a divination wizard.
Study. Magic.
Lindsey plays Salt, who is a gunslinger fighter.
Yeah, bro, you just gotta catch the cosmic wave just right.
And featuring Julien as the dungeon master.
I take deep, visceral pleasure in informing you that this time you do not get sneak attack.
This is Campaign 1, Shanties of the Astral Sea, a custom Spelljammer homebrew game developed by Julien himself. Episode 16, Escaping the Tower. Having arrived at the traitorous apostate's tower, the adventurers have traveled through many bladed and magical traps, only to find a strange journal and even stranger doll. Yet all is not well. Behind them lies a room now filled with poison gas. In front of them is an abandoned bedroom without even a window. The adventurers are trapped without any hope of rescue.
Poking this thing's face, conducive to a long life or not?
Are you're augurying?
No, I'm polling the audience. I'm asking my friends.
I'd rather poke a hole in the wall so we can get out of here.
Well, I mean, but we're not ready to leave. We haven't fully investigated our surroundings. Let's not be so hasty.
Yeah, feel free to poke
what else do you want to investigate? We can take the doll.
All right. Well, I guess you're right. Well, all right. So how do we blow a hole in the wall? I didn't actually have a plan on how to do it. I just know that if we could do it, or knock a hole in the wall, who's got a hammer?
So I would like to use my tools to examine the wall and ascertain, like often in these stone structures, we're near the top. Often the stone walls are going to be thinner at the top than they were at the base, of course, because it doesn't need to support as much weight. So I'd like to, tap with my hammers, with my tools. Like basically, are there weak points? What kind of mortar is holding these stones together? Is it magic? I'd like to make some kind of...
So what tools are you using right now?
That's a good question, and a fair one, and one that I will answer.
Boy, this is some good stalling. Quality stalling.
It's high quality stalling. I got it.
There were tools that you brought to the ship for me to use, Salt, a long time ago. Do you remember what they were? I don't think they ever actually made it onto my inventory.
They are in the party sheet. They are carpenter's tools, cartography tools, thieves tools, and tinker tools.
Thank you. So I think either thieves tools would probably be the most appropriate. I would venture to guess, because thieves want to ascertain the thickness of walls and their ability to be penetrated by, say, thieves.
No.
Okay.
The rationale for that is thieves
Listen, Julien, even if it's not a tool, I think by getting a hammer and banging it on the wall, I can tell, like, what kind of mortar is there? Can I
yeah, you can also just
I've got
see
a hammer.
what kind of mortar is there. Good. Okay, cool. So you can see that there's mortar. These are large pieces of irregular rock that have been put together to form the walls. There is mortar that borders them. Some of it is crumbling slightly. You can't, by tapping on a stone, tell how thick it is, and you are not a stonemason. If you were a particular kind of dwarf with a freaky deaky understanding of things that are stone-based,
suddenly Flint shows up and tells us what the wall is made out of and then leaves.
But you ain't got no stone lore and you ain't got no tools for it. What I will let you do, Chris,
is bang really hard on it.
And you can make just a flat intelligence check.
Really stupid. Wally, why'd you leave us in this situation?
I mean, do you have any idea how expensive it is to be a wizard? I need special inks and all this stuff just to, like, fill out my scrolls so I have power. I don't just, like, get it from, like, going to sleep and being like, I guess today I'm going to cast a fireball. I need to make spell scrolls and study every day. And that is not cheap.
Yeah, I guess, killing all your friends, that I guess that's part of the deal.
Sometimes.
I mean, Scraps, you're looking at these walls and they're made of stone, and you work mostly in chemicals and reagents, and they look like stones. They look pretty heavy and pretty thick.
Can you remind me what's on the floor directly below us? Is that the poison room that we can't access? Can we go down one floor?
I mean, you can. You can open the steel shutters. You guys unlocked them once before.
But that is the room that's directly below us.
That is the room that's directly below you, yes.
So, using the supplies, I could make us some of the black powder that we used on the donjon here. If we all got to one side, it probably would be more likely to blow a hole in the wall than to kill us.
Awesome! Probably. I knew you had a plan, buddy. Let's do it.
So
What about the fireplace? Like,
there is no fireplace. There's at each level there have been alcoves that are filled with ever-burning candles.
Yes,
but there's no fireplace.
That's what I'm saying, Pix. We should build a fire in this place.
I don't want you to blow us up. That's what you're going to do. You know that, Scraps, right? You're going to blow us all up?
I'm going to flip the bed.
Oh, he's going to be fine. We're just going to blow a hole in the wall. You got a better suggestion?
It will probably be fine.
Wait. Pix has a better suggestion.
My suggestion is not being in this stupid tower.
All right, that's just petulant and dumb because we are in the tower and we got to deal with it.
If only there was some way to get back the way we came.
Hey, how about you help me flip this bed over here so we can use it as a shield.
Salt in flipping over the bed.
And then we can use it as a blast shield in the event that shit goes south when you attempt to blow a hole in the wall.
This is what happens when you spend time with, like, medieval nutcases who've never really worked with firearms before. No offense. But when something blows up, it's not going to, like, the bed's not just going to stop them. I don't want us to blow up.
Suddenly, she's an explosive expert.
Oh, yes, I am. Because in my world, the place with no magic, we are very, very good at blowing each other up.
Oh, so you regularly use explosives then?
Oh, listen, Wally, why don't you just go to the wall and turn around? Because you got us into this situation, and this really sucks.
No, I didn't. I didn't even want to go into the prostate.
Oh, my God.
So I will point out, Chris.
I wanted to collapse the whole tower.
To make black powder, it will take you 4 hours of work.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
I'm not. Pix looks around the ceiling of the room. Does she see anything? Like,
yes, you see that the ceiling is made. It kind of rises to a bit of a point. There's like kind of a conical rise to it. Rafters of it are kind of dark and cobwebbed. It's not super reachable. Like there isn't like rafters that come across. It's basically just like a conical A-frame that goes directly up into the dark of the peak of the tower.
Is it made of wood, brah?
Yeah.
It's a little dark. Roll perception for me.
Hey, Wally, you got any fireballs left, brah?
No. Wait, maybe? Yeah, I don't know. It looks like I have one spell of each level left. I think that's accurate. I mean, I guess we gotta go with it. So yeah.
While we're waiting for Pix to roll a
I'm
perception
sorry.
check.
I thought that was Salt. Sorry.
Nope. Salt, will you please wait, I have to look it up. I need you.
Ooh, that's a 14 picks. Not too bad.
Would you please roll for me a wisdom saving throw?
Sure, Gad. It ain't good. It's
Great.
9.
Cool. Thank you very much. Pix, as you look up, you see it could be wood up there. It looks like really thick, heavy, like basically just tree trunks. Not like massive tree trunks, but maybe 10 inch diameter logs that are forming like this roof that basically all come up to the center, and then there's some sort of construction around it that they support that then is holding up the roof. But it looks more like wood. It doesn't look like stone.
It looks like wood up there. Why don't we just light it on fire?
I mean, I can do that. Do you want to light it on fire? I mean, that sounds also dangerous because like flaming things up high tend to drop burning cinders that can either injure or light on fire, other people.
What would you rather do? Blow yourselves up or light yourselves on fire?
Definitely blow myself up.
Oh, God.
Without a doubt. No. If you light yourself on fire, that's slow and painful death. Blowing yourself up is kind of more all or nothing. You're going to be sore or dead.
Do I get the sense that there is a change of air quality coming from the ceiling? Like there might be holes in them, and perhaps I could climb up and find them.
I mean, if we're gonna go through the ceiling, I mean, if you guys think we can get up there, I think I can blow a hole in the ceiling though, without lighting it on fire.
Well, I mean, if you want to go check it out, Crow, you can definitely climb your way up there and get a sense of it. You can't tell from down here.
I would like to do this.
Okay. You have a climb speed. You pretty trivially get your little claws into the mortar of the stones and make your way up to the sloped roof. It becomes harder after that because now you're essentially scaling a sloped horizontal surface upside down. So if you can give me an athletics check for that portion, just to see how successful you are in navigating that part.
No, not very good.
No, it's not very good with a 1. You keep trying to kind of grab at one of the things and have it take your weight, and you can't manage to then pull yourself up from it. So you're kind of dangling from one of these rafters. You're close enough to feel like possibly the air quality is slightly different. It might be slightly cooler where it is, but you're not entirely certain because you're also kind of huffing and puffing from this exertion of trying to pull yourself up into the wood and get your face near it. You're not the strongest cat. You're very nimble, but you're not exactly, you're not packing any guns.
This is true. But what I was trying to get a sense is that the rafters are made of wood, and is the shingling and the roof made of wood?
You can tell that there's wooden planking. You can't see the shingles on this side, but you can see that there's wooden planking, and then there's wooden logs that form this peaked roof.
Okay. I climb back down and I say, well, if you are intent on putting a hole in the tower, it would probably be easier to go through the roof.
Ensign Wally?
Yeah. All right. So you want me to blow a hole in the roof?
Hold on. We got to make a blast shield first, but then yes, I would like you to blow a hole in the roof.
I don't think it's gonna be that hard. All right. So Wally is gonna cast Melf's minute meteors. So I have 6 little meteors floating about my head. I can choose them to strike any point within 120 feet of me. And they do 2d6 fire damage every time they hit something. So I'm going to send one spinning off at is there any points in the ceiling that seem weaker than others?
I mean, anywhere that there isn't one of the massive beams, between the beams, kind of these radial points. Yeah, they seem, it's
so
those
I
are
shoot it right between a couple. Yeah, I shoot it right between a couple rafters then.
Okay, go ahead. And I mean, it is, in my mind, impossible to miss the interior wall of a room you happen to be in.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
I deal five damage with my first of 6 meteors.
You deal 5 damage. You watch as so nobody's preparing themselves in any way, right? What's the blast radius for one of Milf's meteors?
Melf's meteors.
MILF?
What did I say?
MILF.
MILF.
All right, the MILF meteors. So, anyways, the MILF meteors are 5 feet, 5-foot blast radius.
Okay, so that's not bad. So you guys watch as Wally twirls his staff around, and as he does it, the tip of it becomes incandescent, and he swings it around, and it like leaves after images as this kind of like stuttering light becomes the meteors that swarm around his head. And with a little flick, one of them shoots into the roof, and there's a and the wood in that area is kind of splintered and cracked and smoking and starting to like gently crackle. You hear that kind of like crackling, popping noise of a fire just beginning to start.
Right.
You definitely did some damage to it, but not like you didn't blast through it.
So I send another 2, one after the other. Pop, pop.
As he does that, Scrap says, "This seems far less safe than what I had imagined."
Listen, I'm just going with group consensus.
Wally,
Hicks thought this one was okay.
Wally, do not throw any more meteors. If
How
you
about that?
if you burn those, what are they called? If those beams are damaged, the roof will fall on us. All of the roof.
Yeah, bro, that's why we got this bed over here that we're hiding under.
Salt is like under a mattress made of, high quality hay, basically.
I mean, Chris, basically the things that you said were inconsequential because Wally had already launched 2 more meteors. So
yeah, you're like, maybe don't.
What do you mean? No, let's just look. God, what happens?
The meteors streak in red lines of light and impact into the wood. And again, more splintering, more cracking. Actually, do me a favor and roll just your like attack, your spell attack, your ranged spell attack. Like roll a firebolt for me, just to see how precise you are in hitting the same spot.
Sure, we can.
It's an AC. It's technically wooden walls have like ACs of 15 to represent their hardness, so that'll be like, can you nail it in the same spot each time?
Oh no!
So not too bad actually, because this is more of a like, how close are you to the same spot?
I guess that would be the first one I shot off, and that would be the second one.
Okay, so yeah,
so it averages to 50.
It averages to 50. Like, so you've got that one central spot that you hit with the first one, and the first shot is like kind of to the right, and the second shot is more on the money, and it's so kind of like you're creating this area of weakness as you're punching against this wooden wall, and the concussive force of the explosions is definitely splintering and cracking, and now you see that the fire is actually beginning to catch. Like, this is dry wood in the ceiling, and you can see that there's licks of flames, ghostly but bright in the darkness of that roof.
Picks, Scraps, either of you guys got like a water spell, or an ice spell, or a fire extinguisher?
I can change the type of damage that a spell will do. So I can change a fire damage to do cold damage. Would that affect the physical properties?
Potentially.
Okay.
So let me ask a different question.
Try it.
It's about how the hole works.
I mean, holes are portals which one can go through.
Yeah, maybe I'll just say this out loud in character because I don't know how it works in or out of character.
The fire begins to spread further up into the ceiling.
Open the hole.
I cast a fireball, and I use a sorcery point and change it to water.
You're to ice?
Yeah.
Okay, you're casting like actual level 3 fireball.
Hells yeah.
Okay, roll your wild magic. Okay. Now do me a favor and roll the damage for it. Jesus Christ. Okay, so here's what happens. You guys watch as Pix,
oh my god,
kind of puts her hands in front of her face for a second, and a bright mote of orange-red light flickers into existence. And then there's kind of this like distortion, this kind of like golden hazy emanation from inside of her chest. And instead, that light shifts in tone and it goes from this reddish orange to cool blue, kind of an arctic, like the light of winter through a window. And she casts her hands out and the moat just quietly sails. And then you've been around Wally throwing fireballs around, and that like kind of explosive combustion is a little familiar now. This is instead like the sound of 1,000 glasses shattering at once. It's just this as the ice ball detonates. Shards of ice fly in every direction, and the wall blasts open. Flames are blown apart by the wind of its explosion. There is the issue of it's a 20-foot radius spell, and that's not how high the ceiling is. So, you guys aren't like directly in it, but I'm gonna need dex saves. Where do you cast this, Pix? What side of, like, you're where you're standing next to the bed? Where do you cast it to?
Like at the location that Wally had been shooting at.
Wally, give me a sense of where you were shooting at.
So it's like I was imagining it was like a conical roof.
Yeah, it is.
Right. So like halfway up the cone, you know, where it's still pretty wide between rafters. But like not super close to us. I mean, Wally has some minimal level of caution and self-preservation.
Got it. Which quadrant of the tower?
Dude, they're literally all the same.
It is only a question of who is getting hit right now.
Well, given that where I am standing, I'm just gonna say that quadrant. Like I was shooting pretty much over my head.
Directly over your head? Okay.
Yeah, I mean that just makes sense. I don't know.
In which case, Wally, roll a dex saving throw.
Yeah, I mean that's entirely fucking reasonable. And Wally is gonna have some words with Pix after this.
That is what's your spell DC, Pix? It's not 13, it's definitely 16, right?
8 plus 2. 8 plus 2 plus 8 plus 3 plus your spellcasting mod.
So yeah, that's definitely a fail. So Wally, you take 27 points of damage.
Oh, so Wally's dead.
Wally's
that's more than Wally's max HP.
Wait, seriously?
Yes, I was already wounded, and Wally's max HP is only 26.
Oh shit!
Did I just kill Wally?
Is there a rule where if you take more damage than your max HP all at once, you're instantly dead? Is that the rule?
Is that what it
used to be?
I don't know. That's
Hold
what
on.
I'm just inferring that based on what you're saying. I have no idea.
There isn't Pathfinder.
I think it's double your max HP.
I think it's double your max HP.
Otherwise, you have to start making
massive
death saves.
damage.
So I mean, I'm just down. I'm not.
You're down, right?
Yeah. Okay, if you had taken 54 damage, so yes.
When damage reduces you to 0 hit points, and there is damage remaining, you die if the remaining damage is greater than equals or exceeds your hit point max.
Okay, which is amazing because you have 6...
I take 6 damage and then I take 21 damage. So 5 more damage and I actually would have been permanently insta-dead.
So
dear God, Mrs. Everything's too dangerous. Let's just go kill the wizard. Okay.
So Pix with no hesitation, like everyone's like, Pix, do you have an ice spell? Pix goes, yeah, of course I do, and flings an ice ball straight at the ceiling with no preparation. And Wally kind of, Wally, you're like looking up at your handiwork, and you see a blinding blue-white light suddenly engulf you. Everyone else watches as the light expands. Shards of ice go everywhere. The ceiling is blown completely open. I mean, bits of wood, detritus are shot outwards. And Wally, in the aftermath of this, is left as a complete frozen statue. Just like a thin layer of ice covers him as he just kind of is frozen in the last position that he was standing in.
Oh my God, Wally!
I don't know why this one always chooses to catch your spells with his face. Not so smart.
I killed Wally.
I guess I'll perform a medicine check.
You shouldn't whisper to the GM Lindsey, because you're sharing your screen and we can all see your whisper.
I can see your whisper. We can all see your whisper. You can text me on my phone, Lindsey, if you want.
Oh, Wally! Oh, Scraps. Does anyone have some? Wait, I have a spell. Wait, I think I can heal him. Oh my God!
I think we should put some blankets over him. What? I don't even understand. Like, what does this mean? He's frozen solid. Like, I go over and examine him.
We can try and stabilize him.
You can see that he is.
In mechanical terms, I will attempt to stabilize him.
Okay. In mechanical terms, you attempt to stabilize him. It's not that he's like encased in a block of ice. It's that he's just like, there's, kind of rime and hoarfrost over him, and he's just kind of like held up by the sudden stiffness of his body. It's like instant rigor mortis. But he's not like blown to pieces. He's just kind of stuck in place. And you can see that his eyes have rolled back in his head. You can see that his pulse is thready and weak. You don't need the medical check on this is pretty easy. You can see that he's just like knocked the hell out.
So Scraps is going to use a fire bolt to ignite the now empty wooden chest, and he's going to take some water and put it and soak some towels or cloths with it and put it near the fire so that he will have warm, wet towels soon while he examines Wally and stabilizes him.
Yes, and he begins to thaw. He begins to kind of bonelessly slump into a pile.
I start to, pile like the warm, wet towel, like move him close to the fire and put the warm, wet towels close to him. And
so you're essentially trying to stabilize him. So roll medicine.
Yes. And
I'll assist with that if I can.
Yep, so roll at advantage.
And Thessalia is here too, and I'm going to
oh my God!
I think he could use some of your berries if you have them.
Hold on, let me check. I've got them. And she, kind of runs through the arcane motions, and produces, with advantage and a roll of a nat 20 and a roll of 22.
Scraps and Wally just have a special bond, It can't be denied.
Just like can't let me die. I get it.
You immediately, you're aware of the dangers of heating him up too quickly.
I can feel his pulse in my veins. I can feel his pulse in my veins.
You move him you're incrementally moving him closer to the fire in order to stabilize him. You don't want to give him such shock that he immediately dies of the sudden drastic change in temperature. But you get him close enough. You get him. He's starting to the color returns to his cheeks.
Is the root still burning?
No, it actually got completely blown out by the impact of this ice ball. But you stabilize him, and Thessalia has time then Thessalia has no spell slots left at all. Actually, she has 1 second level spell slot. So she can actually upcast. She can upcast Goodberry. Seems like something of a waste, but she can do it.
Scraps will cast, if she's checking her pockets and can't find berries, Scraps will cast Healing Word to resuscitate him.
She can also just cast Cure Wounds upcast to level 2. 12 hit points. So
you're looking better than you were before the frost explosion.
That was fucking amazing. But
Wally.
that was brilliant. It was the perfect solution, the perfect spell. Just you never again get to tell me that my plan is too dangerous.
I'm so sorry, Wally.
No, just agree that you'll never again tell me my plan is too dangerous.
And Pix just hugs the Thalia and just starts crying.
Oh, it's all right, Pix.
Why does the Thalia get a hug? I'm the one that got blew up. I
Wally,
need the hug.
Wally, Pix is very fragile right now. She just witnessed something horrible. You got frozen. Have some compassion.
Everybody knows that Battle Sisters hug after a resurrection event like this.
You know what? This is I just got
Everyone knows.
Previous bodily injury by a teammate, and she's the one that's
terrible. I shouldn't cast magic anymore. I don't know what I'm doing.
No. Just remember to, clear the blast zone next time.
Miss Dying, you're my only friend.
Look what you did, Wally.
What do you mean what I did?
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's fine, Pix. I mean, as I understand it, this is just kind of like standard fare with adventurers. Sometimes you cast a spell on your friends and they all blow up, and maybe one or two campaigns later they realize that is exactly what they got upset about when you did it with Fireball, but then they did it with ice and it's okay all of a sudden. Why is there blood coming out of my trunk? I'm sorry. I don't know what came over me.
Hey, excuse me, Thessalia. I have to take umbrage to this one. Breaking the fourth wall is my thing.
Oh, you're right. Sorry, you got a shtick. I apologize, Wally.
The important thing that we all keep in mind here is we're all
we
okay.
learned the power of friendship.
It was just Wally, so let's move on.
All right, well, can we climb out the hole now?
Pix goes
I saw your reaction to that,
and drop us down a rope.
Pixlix goes to Thessalia and does
It's all right. It's okay. Here, hold on. I think I've got a handkerchief somewhere, or and she finds
trunkerchief,
a crumpled like ball of cloth. Here you go. Right, dry your eyes.
Does she ever use her trunk to like pick things up?
Yeah, of course. Why? Is that weird?
Yeah, is that weird, Scraps?
It's my nose, but it's really useful.
No, I.
He can be so inappropriate sometimes, right, Thessalia?
Well, I think he's just curious about.
Yes, it's like a giant tentacle.
Because he doesn't have a nose.
Did you just call her nose a tentacle?
Yes, it's like one very large tentacle.
It's a prehensile.
I have one as well, but from the other end. But I can't pick things up.
Yes, exactly, like a tentacle. That's right, or a tail.
I mean, I guess.
A land tentacle.
I didn't really think of it that way.
How big is the hole?
I'm gonna call it my trunk. Yeah, the hole is about like a solid 10 feet across.
And how high off of the ground is it? Off of the ground in the sense of where we're standing now. Like
the ceiling, the roof begins at 10 feet. And then there's like an additional 5 feet up where the hole was blown in.
So I'm going to use my 50 feet of knotted rope and go up.
Yes, and the rope slithers its way up and it kind of like shimmies its way up the side of the wall and immediately loops itself. You can see like the planks blew out of the ceiling and it left space behind one of the rafters, one of these big beams, these like huge logs, and it ties itself around that in a quick little motion, and you have a convenient rope to climb up. I'm assuming you all. Is there anything else you want to do in this room before we head out?
I want to throw the creep doll into my backpack.
Yes, I put it in your inventory.
Pix gives Wally a hug.
Thanks, Pix. Honestly, that spell was so fucking cool. It was almost worth being blown up.
Thanks. I'll try not to do it again.
Oh no, definitely cast that spell again. Just maybe don't blow me up this time.
How are we gonna get down from the top of the tower?
I'm gonna cast Featherfall, and we're all gonna jump off, and we're gonna float to the ground.
All right. I hope you're still not mad at me and fake cast it at me.
I was never mad at you. I just don't want you to tell me my plans are dangerous because clearly yours are too.
Yeah, you're kind of right.
It's okay. Like I said, it was super cool. I didn't really mind getting blown up that much. Being frozen, lot different than I thought it would be. It feels different, you know. I expected it to feel cold, but like it was so cold that it felt kind of burny, and like I've never been that stiff before. So really, kind of thanks.
Well, so in the aftermath of having been frozen and being willing to let it go, Wally sees that the hole up there leads to still now blocked partially by the kind of these overgrown trees of the bower, but you also see that now through the hole that the sky that was kind of verging towards sunset and dusk is now full dark. It is absolutely night in the jungle outside of this tower. It's a fairly simple climb. All of you make your way up with help and assistance. Thessalia needing a little bit more because she's a pretty large lady. But you do all eventually make your way to the top of the tower, precariously perched around the broken edges of this roof. Some of you standing on the beam, some of you, Crow pretty trivially can dig his claws into the wooden shingles of the roof around the outside. And you see that there is a slightly dizzying drop down to the bottom of the tower where the fine silt layer of dead soil at the base of the tower still rests.
Hey, Saul, I don't want to be like, I know it took us a while to climb up here, but it's kind of dark out there and it's kind of dangerous. Should we go back down and just camp here for the night?
I mean, that sounds kind of reasonable, actually.
Thanks, Wally.
I'm not against it. There was a very nice comfy bed that I upturned. And a few chaise lounges and
Yep.
I mean, if it rains tonight, it's going to get kind of uncomfortable since there's a fucking hole in the ceiling. All right. I made that happen.
So, I assume that now you guys are all going to head back inside.
Good, I guess, yeah.
All right. Having seen the darkness outside, you
haven't seen the darkness.
You all make your way right back down the rope again into this room. You are it has a cozy vibe, somewhat ruined by the giant the 10-foot hole in the ceiling now, as well as the now very audible sounds of the jungle that come through, the kind of like
dookie dookie caw caw.
Just kind of, and now also some some flying insects are able to get in as well. But if you're all
mosquito bite.
If you're all relaxing, if you're all just taking the night, you can find places to sleep. Is there anything you would like to do before you take a long rest? All right, who's taking first watch then?
There are probably things I would like to do during the long rest that I'm allowed to.
Sure. Are you gonna take one of the watches and do that?
Yeah, sure.
Crow will take first watch. That's fine.
Wally is gonna resummon Quab, and we'll take whatever watch, second watch. Sure.
Great. Go ahead, Crow, and roll perception for me. Okay. You
13. Not terrible.
It's kind of interesting because the room doesn't dim. Like it doesn't have the sense of like normal watches where you kind of dim the lights and there's the solitude of darkness. Your friends all find different places to sleep, and you're just still in this lit room. Only the dark hole in the ceiling indicates that this is, that time has passed, and you're kind of just sitting there with your thoughts. And the noises of the jungle continue. You hear tree frogs and the sounds of animals rustling around out in the wilderness, but nothing bothers you. Who's taking second watch?
Wally.
Right. As you summon Quab, bringing him back to this plane of existence. What does that look like, by the way? What does your summoning ritual look like?
Oh, God. So Wally sits there kind of cross-legged. He's got his staff across his knees, and he kind of is making big circles in the air, and as he does, like small little bits of matter kind of drop to the ground, and as they drop, it's almost like it's snowing little pieces of chitin and flesh. And he's got kind of a little pile of, or actually big pile, crab is big, of like crab shell and flesh, but just kind of in a disorganized lump. And then he reaches up with both hands, closes his eyes, breathes in deep, and he draws light out of nothingness, just like to his fingers, and draws these glowing bands of light down into the pile of stuff, and they sink into it, and there's a little boop, And suddenly Quab is sitting there, and he's like, "Hello, friend. How are you? Come on up." And Crab crawls up on Wally's shoulder.
Yes, as Wally, as you reverse engineer a crab cake, would you please roll perception for me?
Yep. I love the way you put that. I'll be at 14.
Yeah, again, the evening passes without incident. It is all is quiet on the Western Front. Finally, Scraps, you bust out your little traveling alchemical set. What is it that you want to sit down and make?
I would like to, first of all, repair my little friend who was smashed up a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to do some research into my great project.
Okay, great. For Stuart, for your little homunculus, go ahead and roll a Tinker's Tool check. Oh yeah,
26.
26. You bent pieces of chassis straightened. A cog that has been snapped, you find a replacement. The spring that has been stretched and uncoiled, retightened. You are, moving things. It's almost automatic, and that kind of busy work with your hands gives you the opportunity to send your mind kind of off into different paths and trods as you think about your project. So go ahead and roll for me. Which element of your project are you thinking about?
Oh man!
So I'll let you say it's either a medicine or an Arcana check, whichever you would like to roll.
Arcana.
Okay, so go ahead and roll Arcana for me.
24.
24,
Nice.
fantastic. You start to think about sort of the nature of, because you did this with Arcana, you're thinking about the way in which consciousness and life and souls are interrelated. Like you just talked to Wally recently about him just
was it the same creature
spontaneously summoning a living being into existence. Is Quab truly alive, or is it just like some sort of etheric version of what you're doing with Stuart? Or does that mean Stuart is alive? How does one measure the soul in a world where magic actually exists? What constitutes a true sentient mind? And you think back to when you were tripping on mushrooms that first time, when you were still on the Rock of Brawl, and you were thinking about being in the temple and looking at Thessalia and seeing this kind of like golden halo around her, and this like, oh, this kind of recognition of the presence of something that is larger than just the physical body. And then you remember when you looked at Pix, how she was a supernova of light in comparison, and the way that magic has always appeared to have kind of like this luminous quality as well. You're aware that there's some sort of connection between the soul and a true like sentient being, rather than like an automaton or a creation or something like that, and the ability to do magic. There's some connection going on there. You're not quite sure where it is, but you feel that there's something relevant to that as you muse and tinker and repair your broken friend.
It's about that time you realize there's a crab on the floor and you are very hungry.
Excuse me.
It's actually at about that time that I realized, oh shit, I need to make bullets for salt.
Yeah, you do.
So yeah, that's the remaining, the 4 hours of your time. And if you just want to make a Tinker's Tool check for that, go ahead and do that. Or actually, it's an alchemical tool check. And I will apply a long rest to the party.
It does not matter in my case. I think I have proficiency with all tools at all times.
So yeah, you again trivially like work this. Creating these bullets is now second nature to you. It's a masterwork because you got over the DC, and that is 15 shots that you can hand off to
I once again
Salt.
brand them with my trademark K. Again, not even really consciously, just kind of do it. Although one of the bullets, after I've done it and I look at the batch, I take the K And I add a stylized S entwined around it.
You guys are. It's a new day. You finish out your watch. Oh, you didn't roll perception, by the way. So roll perception as the last thing that you do before we finish up. It shouldn't be a problem.
And right when it's time for everyone to wake up, that's when the spiders attack.
Oh,
Then
shit.
Scraps will not hear them.
Oh shit! You rolled a 2.
Oh yes.
Oh shit!
And that's when the spiders attack.
Well, we will simply deal with that when we deal with that. Scraps, you're looking. You've been kind of focused, and you crack your stiff back, and you look around, and you look up at the hole, and you realize that there is now a pale blue sliver of sky visible through the hole, and also past all of these trees and all of these overgrowths. And it is early morning in the jungle. You all come to consciousness, and you have taken the benefits of a long rest. What do you all do?
I feel pretty good. I needed that sleep.
That felt good. All right, rope up.
It slithers its way up there, and you.
Oh, wait.
Oh,
let's check that door first.
Which door?
The sliding one of metal.
Oh yeah, you can roll a thieves' tool check to pick the lock open and slide it.
No, I just want to see if it's open.
Oh no, it's still shut.
Oh, okay, all right, up it is.
Okay. One by one, you all make your way to the top of the hole. Again, all of you balance precariously. In the light of day, the area around the tower looks much the same as it did before. It's that pale gray earth all around it. But now it's light filtering through the trees, and you can see much more clearly the landscape around you. So we just jump?
Well, yes. And he looks around and he counts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hey, Crow, got a question for you.
Yes, he who catches spells with face.
How do you feel about climbing down the side of this building? That's something you can do?
I just start climbing down the building. I was going to anyway.
Excellent. Good, because I can only do 5 living creatures with this. So, everybody ready? All right, we're all going to hold hands and jump.
What are the living creatures?
Well, I mean, me and you and Pix and Scraps and Salt and Thessalia. Yeah.
2 and 3.
Wait. Is everyone ready?
And Salt jumps.
What about?
Oh, we're going! No, Salt jumped. He's pulling Wally with him. You either come down. No, you either come down. Quab is riding on Wally's back, and if Quab dies, Quab dies. But like
Salt and Wally tumble off of the tower. What do the rest of you do?
You better come with, or you're fucked. 3.
How does this spell work?
1. All right.
There's literally no time to think about it. What do you do?
Nope. They're done.
No. Not true. Thessalia is like, and just tumbles forward.
Okay. Pix.
Maybe we should make a roll for it to see if Pix if Pix is quick enough on, or is able
make
to
a reflex
check. Pix jump or not?
Yeah, I don't know what that would be under. I'll say it's a wisdom saving throw or a wisdom check. Up to you. A wisdom check, yeah.
All right.
Oh no.
Yeah. All right. Well, so
that's a 4.
Let's handle this.
Yeah, that's not so great.
Salt, you just like leap gracefully off. Wally, you're pulled off by Salt's grasp, so you just kind of fling. Thessalia just kind of like tosses herself over the side. Scraps, you jump off as well?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Scraps goes leaping like the bird that he almost is, and you're all plummeting in free fall from the side of this tower.
Yes. Can Wally?
Can Wally?
Can Wally describe it?
Wally can.
All right. So we are all plummeting, falling. How tall is this tower, by the way?
Well, it's 9 floors, and each ceiling is like roughly 8 or 10 feet. So yeah, it's like a 90-foot tower.
All right. So guys, you know that thing when you go to like Six Flags or wherever, brings you way up high and then just free fall, you drop. So you feel that because we're just free falling. Your stomach is coming up into your throat and the ground is rushing towards you. And then all of a sudden, after about 3 seconds of free fall, all of a sudden, and you're floating, gently drifting down. All that momentum you had, gone. And you're drifting like a dandelion seed on the wind to the ground.
Thessalia flaps her ears. You guys gently drift past Crow, who is kind of, catting his way down the side of the tower. And Pix, you watch as all of your friends in slow motion just gently drift down the side of the tower, and you feel a cold wind whistle. It's not actually cold, it's just the sweat on the back of your neck as wind breezes across you, and you're all alone on the top of the tower.
All by myself.
I wanna be.
Crow?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
He's like 45 feet down the side of the tower. He's halfway down now.
Can you help me get down?
Yes. How much does Pix weigh?
That's a rude question.
Yeah, seriously, you should know better.
Well, I'm thinking about carrying Pix down a 90-foot tower. I might be looking at Pix going, is Pix a svelte, tiny little 16-year-old, or is she like a Thessalia 16-year-old?
Yeah, it's the first time that we've all had the description of Pix, and it turns out Pix is actually 350 pounds.
She is like wire thin.
Okay.
She hasn't actually eaten since she left Earth.
Yeah.
So like a cat, I was actually heading down the tower head first, but I will turn around and climb back up the tower and look at Pix and say, we roll the dice on this one. With any luck, we both make it down to the bottom and not, jelly.
Quite literally. Go ahead. So as Pix clambers up onto your back and gets handholds in your fur, go ahead, Crow, and make an athletics check as you climb back down the tower. I will.
Athletics. Hold on, I need to read. Oh, my lucky points got reset, so that's good.
The DC isn't crazy high, but it's also not low.
So can Pix help me with that roll?
Can Pix on your back help you to stick on the wall? No.
Like how her weight is distributed and like not like hanging off, and you know what I mean? Like somebody who's riding on the back of a motorcycle helps who's ever riding.
Yeah. She by doing that, she doesn't give you disadvantage.
Okay, fair enough. Oh, we'll take a 17.
Oh, 17, yeah. DC at 15. It's hard. I mean, again, you're built for speed, not for strength. And you are utilizing every little trick leveraging your weight this way, carefully getting your toes locked in before you let go of one handhold, and you slowly, laboriously make your way down. Pix every little jolt, every little jump as your weight shifts this way or that way, and you are convinced you are going to fall. But after what feels like an eternity, you are on the ground next to everyone else, who have all been kind of just like watching you make your way down the side of the tower.
No, Pix, next time I tell you just jump, you really should just jump. Also, I mean, I'm not going to get you killed.
I don't think you told me to jump. It was Salt. He just jumped. Then you all, like,
It's time to jump. It's time to jump.
I put my hand on Pix's shoulder, and my tail kind of wraps around a little bit, and I say, well, that could have been worse.
Oh, thank you so much.
Normally
bro.
I would say don't listen to the little one. You might get things blown up in your face, but I mean, he was right. You probably should have just jumped.
Thessalia turns to you, Salt, and goes, Salt, that was kind of, there's because
No. She thought it was hot. It was a real panty melter.
Oh my God, Wally!
I apologize. I should have counted from 10 picks. I'm sorry.
Well, would you jumped on 1 or would you have jumped on 0?
That's a good question. I think we'll find out next time.
Oh.
Now we need to go fix the boat.
Oh, you had to bring that up.
Thessalia, we never found your bowl.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's not wasn't. I mean,
I think we still need to find the bowl then, right?
I mean, I'll be honest. I'm not really sure where to look. This is kind of my big roll of the dice.
Well, we've got a journal and we've got a creepy doll. Maybe
Oh,
if we
that's true.
touch the creepy doll, it'll magically transport us somewhere. You want to find out?
Maybe if you touch the doll to the journal?
No, I don't want to do that at all.
Oh, okay, I'll do it then. Wally pulls out the doll and goes, I'm going to touch it. I'm going to touch creepy black empty face.
I mean, that seems like a really kind of risky move. You just gave Pix a hard time for not.
All right,
But I mean,
come
go
on.
ahead, sure.
Quab, you touch the creepy face, okay? Thanks, Quab.
I'm gonna step back over here.
Quab extends one of their pincers slowly into the black void of the face, and then pulls it back out again, and the claw is intact, but it does go in further than it should. Like it definitely is, like the back of the doll's head is here, and like the claw just continues for a little bit and then comes back out again.
Mm-hmm. I pull a tiny little brown nugget out of my satchel and hand it up to Quab and go, good Quab.
What?
A tiny little brown nugget. It's like a piece of rotten meat, like crab would eat.
You heard it first here, folks.
Oh my God.
He's got turds in his wallet.
He pulls out a turd out of his turd satchel and hands it to his crab. And Quab grabs it in his pincers and his little like horrifying mouth part, like, and he just kind of like,
I absolutely love the acting you do for crab, Julien. I just have to say.
If you've ever seen an actual crab, they like bubble and
horrendous.
hiss.
Yeah,
they're terrifying. His little like eye stalks on his head are like weaving around. Cool. Yeah, Quab merrily eats your turd snack. And turd snack. Now
Right,
at
so
Good
then
Meats
now-
Emporium.
Now that Crab didn't get hurt, Wally's going to try and force as much of his hand inside the face as he can and start rooting around for something.
Cool. You shove your hand into this hole. You carefully avoid the sharp sides of broken porcelain around the face. And your hand passes into cold and slightly humid, like a root cellar. It's deeply unpleasant, and it feels clammy, and you feel goose pimples break out all along your arm where you can still see them, and your arm can go in quite a distance, and you feel just empty void as this cold sensation rushes up your arm. It's while you're doing this that you do notice the doll is obviously it's constructed like somebody made it, but what you notice is that there's a little like maker's mark, like a little trademark that has been kind of delicately added into the glaze of these like porcelain hands and feet that are positionable. And there's just like a tiny little line of script that runs along the underside of one of its feet.
Is no Blinsky is no fun.
And it
Is
says,
no fun, is no Blinsky.
It says in kind of clumsy block glaze lettering, is no fun, is no Blinsky.
I love it!
Does it really?
It really does. That's what
This
it says
would be
about
a
it.
planar focus to Ravenloft! Guys, listen up! This is clearly magical. And it could be... Oh, is there a roll? Can I roll like Arcana or something?
Roll Arcana for me.
Ravenloft?
Yeah, so you metagame
Because I just
this?
realized
Oh my
I'm just
God.
about to metagame the shit out of it, but I
Roll
want to do it
Arcana
so
for me.
hard. Hold on, apparently I didn't rejoin the campaign. It was still attempting resolved connection to server. Now it's gone.
Okay.
For the audience at home, we had just finished our Curse of Strahd campaign.
This is very much a nod. Not just a nod. This is more than a nod. This is a big old handshake.
Yeah, it's a big old Easter egg, and Blinsky actually was a very huge part of our campaign.
This is true. We
was the dude.
We ended up having a lot centering around the creepiness of dolls and the weirdness of toys in general.
And having all you guys had multiple Blinsky toys made for you.
Yeah, we were patrons of him at a certain point. All right, go ahead and roll an Arcana check for me. A 20 is really high. The DC was a little higher, and the reason and my rationale is this. The Plains of Dread aren't just...
Whoa, we took an 8-hour rest, right?
That's true.
I should have 2 portent rolls.
Well, hold on.
Oh,
Let me before you.
Well, I'll roll my portent rolls anyways because I can use them on this or something else, and there it's 9 and 8. So
9 and 8.
Anyways.
So, when you stick your hand in, and the kind of like just creepy vibe, and you are attuned to magical things, and you can feel that this is an item imbued with magical power. Like this isn't just some random object. And as your arm is jammed nearly elbow deep into it, you realize that what this feeling is, what this cold void reminds you the most of, is the cold of the grave. And you're like, oh, right. There's like necromancy exists, death magic exists. You do know about the Shadowfell. Most people who learn anything about planar mechanics, which as a wizard you definitely have, they know that there are the prime material planes, there are the elemental planes, and then there are different planes of positive and negative energy. The closest of which to our plane is the Shadowfell, where there are a number of different entities that kind of make their home, but it is a place primarily focused around the slow and eventual decay of all things. It is a place of death. It is a place of the repose of eternal quiet of the grave. And that is very much what this magic feels like to you. You, Josh, the player, are well aware of Blinsky. The only issue is that Ravenloft itself, the Plains of Dread, are a one-way trip. You go into the mists, almost nobody comes back out again. I will remind...
I mean, the
Vistani
all go.
The Vistani do.
Yeah.
I will remind... I don't remember when it was. It was earlier on in this campaign. A couple of you were in a tavern, and there was conversation about refugees arriving from a plane that had recently, like, someone had just recently left a plane that nobody had really heard of before, and there was a whole thing about like possible new trade routes that were being opened with them. And
I remember that.
Yeah, and there was like, you was like, oh, that's a little nod, Julien, a little Easter egg. You have like heard of a new plane that I don't remember if you were there yet, Wally. You might have been.
I probably wasn't.
In the gleam in Josh's eye.
Maybe that might have been the first time I met the group actually in the bar.
And there's like talk about people who have come from a plane that was previously locked off. That sounds actually pretty fucking horrible. But yeah, so as you this all goes through your mind as you're like arm deep in this porcelain doll's face, feeling the chill of oblivion seep into your bones.
Occurs to me that this might be a planar focus. And there's been some rumors flying around about some new plane that's like a really awful, terrible place that just got kind of opened up because some I don't know brothers of the sunshine or something. I don't know. It's all rumors. Anyways, there's people coming out of it. And this seems like, if anything would be a planar focus for something creepy and awful and horrible. Well, yeah, that.
Yeah.
It's just a theory I have.
You're crazy, Wally. Sticking your hands in dolls has got you.
Yes, you elbow deep in anything is, well,
and
I think
if
of nightmares. But
listen,
what
and
I
if
would
the
say is,
solution to our problem was inside there, you'd all be thanking me.
do we think that this? Do we think that the bowl may be there? And that is why this doll is here. If he had used it as a plane of focus, would the doll be gone as well?
I think
I do not know these
information.
I mean, I think this is our only clue, so I think we should like stick this in the Spelljammer and see where it bibbity bobbity takes us.
Is there not anything else in the journal?
You're welcome to read through it.
Yeah, if you want to review the journal, I have the pages open.
I think bringing the journal to Thessalia's.
Lovis.
Lovis.
Are you rereading it?
I think bringing the journal to Lovis would be a good information gatherer.
Sure. Crow, are you rereading the journal?
Well, I think for primarily what we're doing right now is we need to get ourselves back to the Lady Luck and figure out how the hell we're going to get it out of the tree canopy.
Okay, cool. So you guys are still in this bower that is formed in this kind of like area of death around the tower. There is the kind of arbored archway that leads back to that place where you encountered the fungal guardian. You pass by its like now kind of crumbling inwards corpse as you make your way back. Is there a marching order? Are you guys going in any particular way?
So Crow will essentially be like a good 20 feet, 30 feet ahead of everybody and be disappeared.
All right, go ahead and roll a stealth check.
Thank you.
Thanks for all your support back there, Thessalia.
Oh, and for any of those people out there listening who don't know what the tower is, as we play here on Fantasy Grounds, the tower is a place where we can roll dice and only the game master can see what we roll.
Only I can show you.
It's a place where we can get together.
It's been a very musical evening.
I'm just feeling musical, man. I don't know.
So,
oh my God, the Ear Band stuff has just got to stop.
You blend into the shadows. I mean, you feel like you are completely invisible. Like you have this sense of like, yes, I have I am one with the shadows. You begin to continue. You continue marching your way. You eventually come back to that coming out of the cliffside where all of these mushrooms have grown. Crow, you're like scouting ahead, right? Like you're keeping an eye out.
Yes.
Go ahead and roll perception for me.
Not in the tower. I'll take a 17 plus 3.
You'll take a 20. Sorry, actually, Pix, you were talking to Thessalia. Let's handle that first, real quick.
Yeah, I appreciate everything you've done, Thessalia.
Hey, everybody. We're still in the tower, huh?
We're battle sisters. No, we're not there anymore.
Okay.
We're battle sisters, Pix. Of course, I'm gonna help you out. I mean, I don't want you to feel. I don't even want you to beat yourself up for a simple mistake. You're not used to throwing around raw elemental chaos. I know that much.
Yeah. Well, you know something? When we get back on the ship, I want to help you out.
Oh, with what?
Well, you do a lot of work in cooking and stuff like that, and maybe I can give you a hand or something.
Oh, Pix, do you know how to cook?
No.
Do you mean that I would teach you how to do it?
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, that's cool. I can teach you how to cook. It's not that hard.
Okay.
This will be fun. We'll bond.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, battle sisters.
Battle sisters.
Scraps, now that you've rejoined us, you are in a you have returned back through that kind of open that like crafted pathway that passes by the fungal guardian's corpse, and then you've continued on, and you were at the opening of the cliffside where you climbed up before. And Crow, you rolled a 20. You rolled a 20. So what you notice as you're coming out ahead, kind of stealthing your way through, is from this elevated position at the top of the cliffs. And actually, I'll drop that on the map right now. Early dawn light that still is kind of casting its glow. It's just, the sky is just beginning to pale. It is still early in the morning. And as you are making your way to the opening of this, and I'll put a bunch of you out on the tracker, even though Crow is the one who's kind of there at the moment. You notice in the distance, Crow, there's kind of the depression in the tree line in the canopy where you know the Lady Luck kind of was dropped sort of unceremoniously. You were able to see it from these cliffs before.
And now you spot just kind of like a glimpse of something move in the corner of your eye. And you see just past a kind of increase in the height of the canopy, you see there's just this like green shape that's kind of like gently bobbing to and fro. You just catch like this movement that isn't quite in line with the trees. And you look and you see what looks to be an artificial object just barely above the tree line, around where the canopy collapsed inwards around your Spelljammer.
And distance-wise from the Spelljammer, I'm assuming it's pretty far from the Spelljammer.
Yeah, it's from your Spelljammer?
Yes.
Oh, you mean how far you are?
Well, how far we are, yes.
Yes, you're a ways away. You're still like a good hike away from it.
I figured it's probably at least a half a mile or more.
Yeah. So you can see it. It's difficult to make out. Like you see that there's an object there right above where the canopy is collapsed inwards. But you are not you're not able to resolve it visually. You also, as you're kind of like watching this and keeping an eye out, you just hear the quietest sound of a twig snap. You're not entirely certain. Like you rolled just over this DC. You just hear the like of a twig breaking somewhere nearby.
So I throw up my hand up for the halt and silent movement for Salt.
I see nothing because you're stealth.
Okay, well then I will stay stealth and be aware of wherever this twig snapping thing is, and anything that's closer to the airship can wait till later.
Everybody else, you come into this this open area unaware. You don't see Crow anywhere. You don't there's no sense that anything is wrong, and you come out into this area of the cliffs. Everybody gets to make perception checks as they walk by, because Crow's just like stopped as you guys walk around them.
Oh shit! I rolled a 22.
Yeah. You just see like Crow is there in this pathway, kind of like ducked around behind the cap of a mushroom, and he's just there, and you see them like he's like hanging out.
Can I like run into Crow because I rolled a natural 1?
You trip over him, you're like, oh, a tree root.
We are not alone.
Or maybe like I trip over him but don't even realize that I've hit Crow. Like I thought it was just like a tree branch or a tree or something. Like,
yep. Absolutely.
Keep walking.
I said we are not alone. Hopefully it is only a tree frog.
Should we be worried about a tree frog?
No, it is what Thessalia said makes most of the noise.
Thessalia, how big are the tree frogs here?
Oh, they can get pretty big. I mean, like, they could probably bite you. They could probably get your head in their mouth.
That's weird.
They're big.
Are they pack animals?
Frogs? I mean, no. They're more, I think probably Wally would say that they're sort of, they go hippity hoppity boo, and then they jump on you.
Yeah, it sounds like something I'd say.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Hoppity boo. I love it.
Are you guys continuing to walk along?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Why would we stop, Dungeon Master? I mean, like, why would we?
All right, well,
do what you will.
Is Thessalia moving at all? Because Pix is staying with her.
Thessalia is
I'm gonna make a stealth.
Move shit around.
I'm gonna make a stealth roll. I'm gonna try to hide.
All right, go ahead.
I can see you, Scraps. You're not fooling anyone.
Yes, you definitely can still see me.
Yeah, with that too. You like
Scraps awkwardly what are you doing, Scraps? Hiding.
It's sort of the scene from The Emperor's New Groove. He's like da 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 da, and he throws himself under a mushroom, but like knocks it over because it's just fungus.
This seems to be like a curse that I have no matter what character I play in what game. My characters just do not do stealth rolls. They don't hide. They're out there. They like to put themselves out there, my characters do. They're not easily you can't take your eyes away.
You just want to stare at them.
They're not easily silenced or hidden. You can't put this crow in a corner, this raven in a loft,
in a handbasket.
This raven in a loft. All right.
So, Salt, is that where you're at right now?
Yes, sir.
So you see that there's this like giant mushroom that you're standing next to, right?
Yep.
And directly ahead of you, there's a massive tree trunk that is completely ridden with these glowing mushrooms. You can't see the top of it from where you are. It is, I don't know, we can actually count squares. It's like 30 or so feet across. That's how big this thing is. And you hear a voice from there. You're unable to see it, but you hear a voice call down to you, "That's far enough! Stop there!"
I raise my hands and stuff. Yeah, bro, what's up?
"Throw down your weapons!
Who are you?"
I am a representative of Prince Andrew and the Crown Guard."
Oh shit. What?
This was a 50 Feet of Rope production. You can find us at 50feetofrope.com. If you like the show, please consider subscribing and leaving a review.